The following is a presentation of the Chicago Bears Network. Now on News Radio 105.9, this is the Bears Coaches Show with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus, sponsored by Advocate Healthcare and Athletico Physical Therapy. Now from Hallis Hall, here's the voice of the Bears, WBBM's Jeff Joniak.
And welcome in, everybody, to another edition of the Bears Coaches Show featuring head coach Matt Eberflus. A pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Joniak. We're with you until 8 o'clock tonight when we turn it over to Monday Night Football. Joined in progress, a doozy, Buffalo taking on Cincinnati in the AFC battle for the top seeds there, and some great stuff going on in that conference. And you'll hear that on 780 AM with news continuing on 105.9 FM. Good evening, Matt. How you feeling?
Good evening. How are you?
Doing okay. We're down to the wire here. Last one. There's both feelings of, okay, it's been a long season, but also you hate to see it end sometimes. That's speaking from an announcer's point of view. Now you guys are putting in the long hours and the work, and the players are putting a great beating on their body every day to get ready for each and every week. But how do you look at the finale of this season?
Yeah, I just look back and see how the guys' work patterns were during the whole year. The guys worked really hard in practice, in the meetings. They improved every single game during the course of the year, and I really want to thank those guys for all their hard work during the course of this. And this week's no different. We're going to start over here coming up, game planning for Minnesota, and get going on the week.
You told me something several weeks ago during the midst of this losing streak, and it doesn't feel good for anybody, obviously, to lose 9 in a row and 12 of 13. But you told me that if the Bears win 9 in a row and 12 of 13, you're going to be the same guy. The team's going to have the same approach. Why did you tell me that? And is it hard to do both? Is it hard to handle the losing, and is it hard to handle the winning?
Yeah, I mean, with winning and losing, there's always outside noise, so you always got to be able to handle that, and that comes from a lot of different spaces, right? It comes from your family, it comes from the media, it comes from different areas, and you have to really do a good job of filtering that information and getting back to the business at hand. And what that is execution. That's what you have to do. You want to be able to get down there with your coach and the player, get together and execute. And that's what wins football games. And that's what we're doing right now, building that foundation.
I also don't want to minimize the impact of both winning and losing on a coach or a team, because the losing definitely doesn't feel good. It's not like you're just trying to forget about it and move on. I'm certain it just tears you to pieces.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. It's, when you look at winning and losing, the losing part of it, is always reflective. You have to look and see what you could do better and improve upon what you can do, and that's what good teams do. They constantly get better, and I believe our team has done that.
A lot could be looked at from yesterday that could be better. What was your review?
Yeah, so I thought the game started out really strong, with on the offensive side of the ball. Really did a good job of, scoring on that first drive. And I believe we're 12 of 16, number one in the NFL at doing that. So
52 points, tied with Minnesota for second overall. But that's an impressive. That's highest percentage in the league, though, of scoring.
Right. So that's really good by those guys, the offensive staff and the offense in general. Really good. And then, obviously we ended up with that Cole Kmet touchdown. That was an excellent. I'm sure we'll talk about it later in the show. And then the second drive was a really good drive. And then we capped that off with a field goal. And then the third drive was actually a pretty good drive too. That's where we had the Cole Kmet incomplete pass. We had things going there, and that kind of stalled out. But overall, it was a good start by the offense. And defensively, you just got to do a better job, of executing and tackling and cupping the ball. Again, it wasn't a good day for the defense, but it wasn't indicative of what the effort and the style they've put out there the last few weeks, versus Green Bay, Philadelphia, Buffalo. I thought they had some good performances with a lot of young players those last few weeks. So, again, we want to get that back on track this week.
So would you, because many writers wrote about, they questioned the effort. They questioned, did you yesterday?
Well, I know this. When you give up big plays, there's always, and you give up the cup, and plays break through there, then it doesn't look great, But when you snuff plays out and play things the right way and keep them in front of you, then guess what? You look fast, you look quick, you're striking, and that's the big part of it. You got to do a great job at the first level to make sure those things don't break through there.
The passing game, obviously, all season long, it's been a heavy run offense, clearly, and that's been very successful. But what is your analysis right now of where the passing game is at? And obviously, there's a lot of moving parts here. It's not the 11 you figured would be starting all the way through the season. That's never the case, but there's been reasons, right?
Yeah, I think that the passing game from yesterday, if you look at it, if we take the checkdowns, take the short throws and the catch and runs when they're playing the zone that they played some yesterday, I think we'll probably have 8 or 9 more completions, and I think that's something that we need to continue to work on with Justin and in our receivers, and scramble drills getting open too. I think we missed a couple opportunities there as well.
Jared Goff on screen passes is like 90% completion to backs this year. Is that an area that can really just boost the overall attack and set you up for bigger plays throughout the course of a drive or a season?
Yeah, I think we did have a nice screen yesterday to Demo. Demo had a nice little screen and he split 2 and did a pretty good job. I thought that was one of our best timing in terms of halfback screens that we had all year. We've been doing a great job with the Y screens, to Cole. Cole's done a great job with those. We've connected on those a lot, and I think the halfback screen is certainly something we can improve on.
Tom Thayer's ready to kill me because every week we do a game preview that you can see on ChicagoBears.com and all the different social platforms. And we each have to pick an offensive, defensive player to watch for the game. And I've been picking Cole Kmet almost every other week here of late because I just see this great potential. And yesterday, again, there were many times that he was like there was places where he was open to have even a bigger day. Has his climb over the course of the season been something that has really caught your attention, not just as an inline blocker, though?
Yeah, no doubt. He's had a really good year, and I think the connection with him and Justin has just improved. Kept improving over the course of the whole season, the second half of the season for sure, and he's continuing to grow. He's got a lot of room for growth. In terms of his route running and his ability to run after the catch is always going to be highlighted, but he's improving for sure.
Well, he's a heck of a under center quarterback. You can build many different plays from this now for sure, because I'm sure everyone thought he was sneaking on 3rd and 1.
Yeah, we've worked on that play for 4 weeks and we called it finally this week. So it's been a while.
I got to admit, I had my head down looking at a stat and I see a pitch out to Fields, and I don't know how he got it. I never saw him sneak under center there. 31 yards later, it's a great play, and everybody's talking about it. So that's the beauty of the shell game that is offensive football in the National Football League. But, those things on tape, then everybody's got to be looking for it, and you could always build off of that now, right?
No doubt. You build off the looks and build off what you're doing tendency-wise, and that'll certainly be fun.
The Bears Coaches Show with Matt Eberflus and WBBM's Jeff Joniak continues.
Justin Fields under center, man in motion, play fake, setting up the throw, looking right, wide open, Kmet turns up at the 5 to the end zone, and he plows through a Lion right front pylon, touchdown Bears, and another opening drive score, a 13-yarder on 3rd and 2 big 3rd and short conversions by Justin Fields, one with his legs, one with his arm. Cole Kmet with his 6th touchdown of the year.
Welcome back to the Bears Coaches Show. This is Matt Eberflus and Jeff Joniak. Great seats available to see your Chicago Bears this season at Soldier Field. Get your tickets at chicagobears.com/tickets. Only touchdown drive of the game, the opening drive. Cole Kmet, 13-yard touchdown pass. Break that one down. Wide open pitch and catch.
Yeah, really good play design by Getsy there. Obviously, play fake to the left. A little hide pass there where Cole sneaks under the line there, and he's wide open in the flat. The cool thing about that play was Herbert. Herbert did a great job of blocking on the edge, and he cut the defensive end. And Justin had a really good touch pass on that. I think he really did a nice job of throwing it up in there. And then the end of that play to spring the touchdown was Pringle. Pringle had to shield the defensive back, and then obviously Cole did a great job of getting it in the end zone.
All right, so you arrive here today, talk to your players. It's the last week of the season. We know now the NFL decided Sunday at noon, so are you good with that? I know it's Sunday at noon, good old-fashioned way to end the season against
Sunday
the Vikings.
Sunday at noon at Soldier Field. You can't beat it against the Vikings. So we're excited about doing our last performance here for this group. And, again, it's a young group. We've been through a lot of adversity this year, but we're looking to finish it off the right way.
So when you're talking to them in the meetings, do you get a sense of where they're at?
Yeah, you do. The guys are upbeat and positive, and, exactly what Justin said to the media yesterday. He talked about, hey, how do you get better? You learn, you grow, and you work hard. And that's exactly what he's been doing all year, and that's exactly what our guys have been doing. So you just got to keep growing through these performances and keep learning and keep working hard, and that's the only way you get it done.
Yeah, and when you take a loss like that one in the division, even though you're positive and you're looking to the future, every guy's looking at their own situation, and I could hear it. I could hear that one stung these guys. Like, that one hurt. Like, in the recent weeks, I haven't heard it that way, but This one kind of stung.
Yeah,
Did you get that sense?
Because of the last few weeks we were in the ball game, to the very end, to the fourth quarter, and we were in those games, against Buffalo, against Philadelphia, against Green Bay, so we were in all those games, and then before that, they were one or 2 point scores, to win the game. So that's probably why, because the situation and the score was, so, but the guys kept battling, they kept fighting. And again, that wasn't indicative of our whole season, because we've been battling and fighting and competing every single week.
All right, let's talk about Justin, because we can talk about his overall development, but I want to talk about leadership. And this is what you've been seeking. When he answered questions about Chase Claypool and going to Chase Claypool and talking to him on the sideline when he was a little frustrated, that's a significant development from your team leader and your starting quarterback.
Yes, it is for sure. And, I read what he said, last night, because somebody sent it to me, and I was so impressed with his leadership and his maturity. His ability to go over during the course of a game to talk to another player, I think just shows what you're looking for in a leader. And then they have the ability to go ahead and express himself when somebody asks him the question to the media later on. So to me, that's really good by Justin in terms of his leadership.
Now, how do players take that from a 24-year-old quarterback?
No, I think it's good. He's obviously in the leadership position as the quarterback, and it's important for him to do that. We said from the beginning that you want to model behavior, you want to inspire, you want to encourage, but you also want to challenge. And that right there he was challenging another teammate to have, go about it a different way and have some self-control, right? And to have passion, but also have self-control at the same time.
This is an emotional sport, and having done an interview for our TV feature for Bears Game Day Live with Chase Claypool, he has a lot of passion in him. How do you allow that still to be shown, but yet remind him that, this is the way we do things here in Chicago?
Yeah, I would just say when you're always working with your teammates, you're encouraging them, and you're challenging yourself, to get better. And you challenge guys by making plays. You go out there and make plays, and that's how you go ahead and get enthusiasm going, by making critical plays, make a big catch, make a big run, big yards after catch. Make a big interception, whatever that might be. But that's always done by performance, and that's done through execution. That's how you get passion and emotion in the game. Obviously, you have to have both, to be able to do it at one time. You have to have passion and execution at the same time. So that's what we're working to do.
Now, more of the Bears Coaches Show, featuring Matt Eberflus on Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station, 105.9 WBBM.
Four-man run with time. Fields stepping up, though. Runs up the middle with a 35 to the 40. 45 to the 50. Fields running away from the Lions at the 30, the 20, the 15. Down inside the 10. Justin Fields all the way down to the 7 or 8 yard line.
Calling all Bears fans, get the ultimate VIP fan package with Chicago Bears VIP. Score a game ticket and appearance from Bears legends and more by visiting ChicagoBearsVIP.com. Welcome back to the Bears Coaches Show with Matt Eberflus. Just heard the 60-yard scramble. After a while, he's had 5, now 6 of these 50-plus yard runs. You're thinking, oh my gosh, is this just normal for Justin Fields? And it kind of is.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's a dynamic player. And that 60-yard run was pretty special, And again, he's does a really good job when he gets to the open field of really, pouring on the gas there. And he did a good job there setting up a score.
Overall, the point totals have been interesting this season. It's almost in chapters. So I think it was 15.6 points per game in the first 6 games of the year, then 29 points a game over the next 5, and now 14.5 points in the last 5. What is that a function of? Because obviously things were climbing.
Right.
Now on the other side of that hill a little bit.
First of all, you look at the defenses that you're playing, because sometimes you're playing a little bit weaker opponent with defensively, and you certainly always got to look at that. You're playing the Bills, who are a really stout defense, and also the Eagles. But I also think that it comes down to execution, and it also comes down to also the lineups. Who do you have in there? What's your offensive line in front of you? Is it the combination of receivers the same? Are you healthy during that stretch? So it's a couple different things. You look at the opponents you're playing. You look at the complement of players that you have with you, and then obviously the health of those players. That's always important for execution.
Got to talk about the offensive line in that vein, because so much change, and we talk about it almost every week here. But man, you thought you were getting whole yesterday, and 2 guards go out again.
Yeah. Yep, and it happened pretty early too.
How you managing?
That happened pretty early. So it was really the same thing the week before. You lose two guys. Early or a couple weeks ago, you lose two guys, and you don't have two receivers. But it's always hard when you have that hit in the middle of your offensive line because that's where the pressure comes the fastest. When you have pressure right up the middle there, it's certainly the quarterback feels that, and that was certainly an effect we had yesterday.
Braxton Jones dealt with a different kind of pass rusher in James Houston. He hasn't played much this season. Certainly saw him on tape and what he's done, but his bend and his that man was a challenge yesterday, wasn't he? And Braxton said, I got to get my pad level down.
Yeah, it's much of the same. He's just got to get his pad level down. Got to understand how to anchor his bull rush and get his pads down there and use his length. Because he does have length. He does have that, and he's been improving on that. But again, yesterday he had a couple of shots there where he wasn't good enough.
We touched on Dieter Iceland last week. He's a South African rugby player that's learned how to play professional football.
Right.
Been on the practice squad here for several years. How is he coming along? I mean, he's thrown in there, obviously, and you've got to know him well during practice over the course of the season on the practice squad, but overall.
No, he's done well. He's a very smart guy. He executes well. And he's played guard, he's played center, so he's a guy that can fill in all three spots right there. And he's been in a backup role for us. And then he was thrown into the fire there the last couple weeks, and he's had some solid snaps in there. And again, he's a guy that's helps us in our depth.
All right, let's talk about Justin, because at the news conference earlier today, suggesting that not sure yet if he will play for Week 18, as you will look at the entire health of the football team. I'm sure our minds are running wild on what that means. What does it mean right now?
Yeah, it just means exactly that. I mean, we're looking at the whole health of the football team, from offensive line to receiver to quarterback to running back, to make sure we're doing what's in the best interest of our whole football team, and that's including the guys on defense. So we'll look at here in the next 24 hours and figure that out and put our heads together and make a good decision. A guy like Justin,
he does not want to sit for any reason. He makes that clear every time he takes the mic. He thinks every snap is a blessing.
Right.
So how do you look a player in the eye if you have to come to that decision to tell your starting quarterback?
No, like I said in the post-game presser that if he's ready to go, he's going to go. And we'll see where that is. And again, we got to assess everything where it is right now and go from there.
The Bears have done an unbelievable job running the football this year. Still number one in the league. Would you mean something? Will it mean something? We touched on it a couple weeks ago. I think you did say that to get the 3,000, have Justin get his record if he is going to play. Are they just in the big picture? What do they mean? It's maybe it will impact a win or a loss, but overall, though, it is what you want to be.
Yeah,
So if you could be the top dog in the league at something,
absolutely,
why not?
Absolutely, it's always good. You're looking at those stats. We've had a chance, to be up there in run defense, in the past, and we've been, one, and then we've also been, in the top 5. I certainly think it's cool when you end up being number 1. It's important. And our offensive squad's doing a great job. They've done a great job all year running the ball. And that's really the three-headed monster. You got Demo, you got Herbert, and then you got Fields. And Fields is a big part of that. It was a big part of that yesterday with 132 yards. I want to say 134 yards rushing the ball. So it's always exciting to watch, and it is important to us. And we'll see where it goes this week.
The Bears Coaches Show with Matt Eberflus is sponsored by Verizon, Bet Rivers, and Miller Lite. Once again, the voice of the Bears, WBBM's Jeff Joniak.
Jones this time going to take it about 8 yards deep. He's coming out this time, middle of the field, trying to get that edge of the 10, does 15, 20. He's got some blockers at the 25 to the 30, 35 to the 40 to midfield. He's brought down in Lions territory. So it looks like a 63-yard return for Velus Jones.
Welcome back to the Bears Coaches Show with Matt Eberflus, Jeff Joniak here. Actually, stop by the Miller Lite Ultimate Tailgate located at the Field Museum on Sunday. Open for Bears fans of all ages, 2 hours pregame and 1 hour postgame. It's always a good time. That was the Velus Jones kickoff return, 63 yards, and he continues to put one on tape every week, it seems. He's up to over 29 yards of return.
Yeah, so that was we had 17 seconds to go in the half. We had just forced them to kick a field goal. And it's unfortunate that play before that we didn't keep them out of bounds on that. They actually wound the clock on that when I was already out of timeout. So they got a chance to bleed the clock down from 105 to 17, I think it was. Somewhere in there. It was 17 seconds to go when we kicked it. Velus Jones, we told him, hey, bring it out no matter what. Okay, so I think it was like 9 deep. It was, 8 or 9 deep. at the end zone, and we had a bounce right on there, so he ended up doing a great job of bouncing out to the right. He had some great blocking on that play. AJ had a great block on that. AJ Thomas.
Another rookie.
Ebner had 2 knockdowns on that. KB had a really good block on that as well. Gates had a good block. So there's a lot of good blocks. Elijah had a good block on that. So there's a lot of good blocks that set that up. And he just turned the corner with his speed. And we were 1 block away from taking that all the way, and ended up getting stopped at the 45-yard line. And then we had 7 seconds to go. And then we just didn't operate it good enough on the out-of-bounds play. The Lions had a good alignment on that particular play with 7 seconds to go and no timeouts. But we gave ourselves a chance.
Did they show on tape a 1 defensive lineman and that drop everybody back? I mean,
yeah. So what they did is,
did you see that before?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They get in the sideline defense. So that's what they did. They put their defensive ends on the sideline. That's who actually picked the pass.
Yep. Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah. So they put their ends on the sideline. They have 1 defensive lineman, and everybody's playing outside man because they know you have to get to the sideline. So it was a good alignment by them.
That cat has 3 interceptions this year. I always find it fascinating in the 103-year history of this sport that many times this season, the first rookie this, first rookie that, you would assume that some of these things have happened before. But does it ever fascinate you to look at things like that?
Oh yeah. These guys are pretty amazing. They're amazing athletes and they can do amazing things, and they're certainly getting better every single year. So that doesn't surprise me.
All right, back to Velus. He was at the podium here earlier today. Very confident about where he's headed. Knows he has to understand the offense a lot better to be a more impactful role player in that. But he's feeling good about his kick returns, and at least it's something to build on for next year. He admits that hamstring early in the preseason was a downfall for him.
Yeah, he's been working. It's important for him to just keep working and doing a good job of staying in the moment. I told him in the hallway earlier, I said, hey, this is all about you and your coach getting together and improving and keep improving, and it's paying off for you. You're doing a great job with the kick returns. You're obviously very dynamic back there, and that's not just him. Like I just said earlier, you got to have all those guys blocking for you, and when they believe, and Bears fans know this, that when they believe that a kick returner can take it to all the way, the guys will block a little bit longer and a little bit harder for you, and our guys are really starting to do that. So we're excited about where that's going, and he's done a good job. He had a 13-yard gain on a jet sweep yesterday. And there's great blocking by Griff and Cole on that particular play to capture the edge. And he's doing a really good job of listening to the coaching, because he's got to bubble that out a little bit and not cut it back. He's just got to capture the edge, and he did a really good job with that for a 13-yard gain. So he's learning all the details to everything on offense, and Tyke Tolbert's doing a good job working with him.
Why not just let Velus return all of them? Because to me, there's nothing to lose at this point. Why not get as much experience with that as possible?
Yeah, I mean, because you're trying to save a first down. You don't want to get tackled on the 15-yard line when the ball's going to go out 10 more yards than that. So you're just trying to do a good job of not giving up a first down and creating a field position for your offense. If it's kicked out, it's kicked out. We'll take that. Again, if it's a must-have, or they put some hang time on it and put it on the goal line, we're certainly going to return that.
Bears Coaches Show rolls on here from Hallishaw with Matt Eberflus, a check of WBBM's traffic and weather together on the 8s with Brian Peck.
Well, Jeff, Dan Ryan now has an accident, but it's in the express lanes. It's inbound, a little bit backed up, 47th to 43rd. We get a crash with injuries there. It is in a lane. Emergency crews are there to help out now, but it is backing up, so your express lanes are about 2 minutes slower on the inbound side, so stay in the locals for the Dan Ryan. Outbound, you look great. You're 12 minutes out to the split. I-57 Bishop Ford looks pretty good. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, you're slow southbound and northbound only because of the dense fog. Really not a lot of traffic, but CTA is not running buses on DuSable Lakeshore Drive due to the dense fog. They are just rerouted. They're still running, but rerouted. Also very foggy in northwest Indiana, 8094, both directions. Just take it slow, take your time, and get there safely. Weather, traffic and weather together on the 8s. Next, traffic at 748 News Radio, 105.9 WBBM.
The Advocate Aurora Health Live Well app makes it easier to connect to your most important health information anytime, anywhere, so you can focus on getting the most of every moment, game day and every day. With access to health information, virtual visits, and healthy recipes, The app puts your health at your fingertips virtually anywhere. So download the Live Well app today. Advocate Healthcare, the official healthcare partner of the Chicago Bears.
Football legends weren't born making game-changing touchdowns. They started out like the rest of us, playing with the neighborhood kids. And while it wasn't the playground or the local field that made them great, those places did give them the opportunity to become great. At PNC, we believe every kid deserves a place to play and learn. Over the years, we've teamed up with the Chicago Bears to give the kids of Chicago learning resource centers that spark curiosity. PNC Bank and the Chicago Bears. Just one way we're making a difference. The PNC Financial Services Group, Inc., all rights reserved.
Traveling to an away game to watch the Bears win big? Get ready to celebrate. Celebrated a little too much? Time to sleep in. Slept in and gonna miss that flight home? Time to change your flight without paying change fees thanks to United. So, when will you worry about getting back? Tomorrow? Maybe? United, proud to fly the Chicago Bears. Does not include basic economy unless a United waiver applies. Exceptions apply for certain international flights. At JLL, we buy, build, manage, occupy, and invest in a variety of assets, including industrial, commercial, and retail real estate. Together, we share a commitment to our people, our clients, and our community, and reimagining what real estate can be for those who use it. For more information, visit JLL.com. JLL, we shape the future of real estate for a better world.
What do you call a group of friends decked out in orange and blue who hug and toast with Miller Lite after every great play and in between endless choruses of "Da Bears"? You call it Miller Time in Chicago. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2022 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
In today's environment of uncertainty and rising costs, more and more families are turning to home solar systems to provide more stability and permanently lower their energy bill. We are Revolution Solar, your local solar provider and proud partner of the Chicago Bears. We are changing the solar industry by giving families the option of exploring what solar can do for them from the comfort of their own home with a 15-minute virtual presentation. No pressure, no money out of pocket. Call to schedule your appointment today.
The Bears Coaches Show with Matt Eberflus and WBBM's Jeff Joniak continues.
Snap, Goff looking to throw, pressure, and down he goes! Dominique Robinson, the sack set up by Travis Gibson on the outside. His first sack since week 1 when he had a sack and a half against the San Francisco 49ers, a sack of 9 yards.
Back on the Bears Coaches Show, 1 of 2 sacks on the day. Travis Gibson gets credit with the sack. We all thought Dominique Robinson also deserves at least a half on that one. We'll see what the NFL does. Matt Eberflus back with you. Stop by the Miller Lite Ultimate Tailgate located at the Field Museum. Open for Bears fans of all ages, 2 hours pregame and 1 hour postgame. What'd you think of the play?
Yeah, I thought it was a boot pass. They did a really good job of Gibson did a great job of pulling them up. And I think that's something we've been working on this week, and that they've hit on us before. And I thought the guys did a nice job of executing that play.
I know there wasn't a ton, but I cobbled together all the nice pressures of yesterday. Joe Thomas had one. There was a good married pressure and coverage and a pass break up by Harrison Hand. You had Nate Sudfeld sacked by Justin Jones. It's better than nothing, but it was something, and it did show one thing. No quarterback likes the pressure, but with that particular quarterback, while he's had a great year, even a little bit of pressure throws him off, and it's an incompletion here, or he has to get rid of the football. I know that's been a big topic all season long, and are you confident in the future when you get this thing going the way you want that pressure will be significant?
Yeah, there's no doubt. And pressure comes with when you get guys that are pressure players. And I thought Justin Jones did a really good job of pressuring yesterday. He had a couple good hits on the quarterback. Dominic had a good pressure even on the defensive pass interference that they called on 4th and 4. Dominic hit him on that play, and that was a good play to see. Our guys, I thought, did a good job of looking back at the ball. For that one. I thought that we did a really good job of stopping them on that down. I thought they played it the right way. You just got to really just get your hands off of the player. But they're all going back for the ball, looking at the ball. So we'll see where that goes.
You talking about the end zone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Help me out on that one. Kyler got the flag.
It was Kyler got the flag, and DHC were back there in the deep part of the field. And we had really good coverage on that 4th and 4. And, again, that was a critical down. That was a really critical down in the critical moment in the game. It was on their first drive. So I thought the guys did a really good job of looking back for the ball once they saw the ball was underthrown, and the back judge did not call the foul. I think the field judge or side judge did. And again, that's their opinion on it. But again, I thought it was a clean play.
You've had a bushel of these types of things this year, haven't you?
Yeah. You're always going to have adversity, and sometimes it comes through officiating, sometimes it comes through your opponent, but it can come in many forms.
All right, so let's step back with that a little bit, and I want only to talk about you now. I know it's the whole team, but as a first-time head coach, how would you summarize everything that's gone on that you've adjusted to, learned about, and try to keep it Matt Eberflus focused? Yeah,
I would say that certainly the game management side of it is something that you have to dive into as a head football coach, and Harry Freeze does a great job with me working through that. We take about 400 and some plays every single week that we watch. It takes about 4 hours to look at and to make sure just work hours. And we look at all the end of halves. We look at all the end of games. We look at every fourth down in the league, and we look at all the challenges in the league. So we're constantly educating ourselves to make sure we're on top of our game management side of the game, when to call timeouts, all those things. But we've done that all year, and we've done it every single week. We start on Thursday, and we end on Friday. So that's been really good. That's number one. And then really just laying the foundation for the football team. That's your job as a head coach. And I feel I've done a really good job of that, of laying that foundation for our football team, something to stand on for the future.
What does Harry do, for those who don't know who Harry is?
Yeah, he's in analytics. He's in analytics for us, and he's also there on game day, and he also works with me on game day. He also has the headset. He's up in the press box.
Aside from the obvious wins and losses, do you have any personal regrets on anything this season? You may not even want to share what those may be or not, but, I mean, you're a very confident man. You believe in what you believe. You have strong conviction. So I would assume, you lay it all out there. So that's my impression. What would you say?
Yeah, I don't have any regrets. I'm confident in the direction we're going and the foundation that we've laid, and in the personal relationships that we've built, throughout the course of the team. Like I said, we have a very young football team, a lot of first and second year players that are going to be on this roster, and we certainly are enjoyed building those relationships.
You'd hate to have a guy who's banged up and suffer an injury that will complicate 2023. You can't play scared, but those things do crop up, and I'm sure it'll be a discussion point with you and General Manager Ryan Poles this week. Yeah,
that's always, our eyes are forward to Minnesota for sure, and we're excited about playing at noon at Soldier Field, and we're always going to look at that. This being the last game, of course, we're going to look at the health of the football team to make sure we're making good decisions for the football team, and if guys are ready to play and they're healthy, they're going to play. And if they're, banged up a little bit, then we got to have a discussion.
The Bears Coaches Show continues exclusively on the home of the Bears, Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station, 105.9 WBBM.
Final segment of the Bears Coaches Show. Not only for tonight, but for the season. Matt Eberflus here. We'll take a look at the Vikings coming up in just a moment as well, but still looking back and looking forward at the same time. That's something that fans do every single week of the season. They jump ahead more than anything, and that's okay. It's fun for the fans, right? It's fun for us to analyze it as well as announcers and so forth. But for you guys, it's a minute-to-minute grind. It's hard to look past anything.
Again, that's every week. We do that every single week, and again, it's got to go through three things. The medical staff has got to clear them, right? The player has to look good in practice, right? And then the player has to feel good about his performance as he goes out there. And that's the same thing I said about Justin, weeks ago after the Atlanta game, going into the Jets game. So it's always going to be those three things. And again, we're going to have to assess that for the whole football team like we do every week.
Where is the biggest development for the 2022 Bears?
I would say that our foundation, the foundation of how we operate, and you could ask anybody in the building here that they understand how we operate. We're on time, right? We work hard and we're respectful. And you can tell that throughout the entire building. The feedback that I've gotten back from it doesn't matter if it's the equipment, if it's athletic training, if it's PR, Brandon and PR, anybody, they'll all tell you that these guys are hard workers. They're very, very diligent in terms of being on time and putting the time in, but they're also respectful to everybody in the building. And you can be that way. You can be very competitive as a football player, but also be very respectful to everybody around you and really helping others that are around you too.
the unit that made the biggest progress?
I would say that, the quarterback. I would say the quarterback made the biggest progress this year, just from us being able to utilize his skill set, and he really jumped onto the scene there midway through, and really did a good job of sustaining that, and we're excited about where he's going.
How about one on defense?
Yeah, I would just say the defensive backs. To me, the defensive backs, not only the guys that were there to start. Eddie obviously had a really, really good year going for himself. I thought that was really good. The emergence of our two rookies, Brisker and Gordon, did a really good job of working through and getting better and improving. And they would be right up there with improving, throughout the course of the year. And then the guys that have been in there, you got Jalen and some other guys too. But I would say the secondary in general.
All right, and then on special teams. I know we want to talk about Trenton Gill too, but what would be on special teams?
Yeah, I would just say that the youth of our special teams groups, because we played so many rookies this year, I would just say that overall I thought our cover units did pretty good, and that goes with our kicker and also our punter. Trenton obviously did a really good job of, for the most part all year of punting, getting the ball out on time, and really pinning them, doing a good job with that as well. But I would say the cover teams.
Yeah, Trenton on his birthday had a big day. He was used a lot, obviously, but he had some really good kicks this year. The pins, like you mentioned, and when you marry that with a young team, to me, one of the most impressive things with having 8 or 9 rookies on there, on those coverage and return units, penalties. Not many penalties on special teams. I mean, that's rare. There's nothing more irritating for a coach, I would imagine, is a first down penalty on offense, false start or a hold to set you back, or a special teams penalty that wipes out good field position and pins you deep.
Yeah, that's important for us. We want to have 0 penalties on special teams, and we've accomplished that goal a bunch of times this year, and we want to be disciplined, and the guys have done that.
All right, now it's time to look ahead, brought to you by Bet Rivers, the official sportsbook partner of the Bears. The Bears close out the season with the Vikings at Soldier Field, noon kickoff on Sunday. Vikings beaten by a red-hot Packer team right now, 41-17. They still have a shot, though, at the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're 12-4. Their quarterback has been outstanding this year, Kirk Cousins. It's been a passing offense. I mean, he's thrown the ball over 600 and almost 650 times. That's half of that for Justin, just in comparison to think about how different things have been. But you faced him a long time ago. Different team right now.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are different,
yes,
for sure.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
that's for sure. But in that first game, I thought that they got out to a hot start, of course, and then we did a good job of settling in, and then we had a chance to win it at the end. We ended up not operating good enough in 2 minutes to win that game, but it was give us a chance to win it. But again, it's always a divisional opponent. They're going to be in here wired in, and we got to do a great job of going to compete against these guys.
And their team, we found out, it was one of their 8 fourth-quarter comebacks this season, which is an NFL record, or at least one shy of an NFL record. They have given up points. They've only given up the Bears only given up 20 more points than the Vikings have this season. Yet they're 12-4, and the Bears are 3-13.
Yeah, and they've won a lot of close games. They've had a lot of close games at the end, and again, they've been able to pull those out, and that's why the record is what it is.
All right, another great receiver comes dancing down your driveway here. I think the Bears have faced the top 7 receivers in the league in yards after the catch, which is a lot for one season. It's been a great test for you on secondary, and he will be again, Justin Jefferson.
Yes, yep. He's certainly dynamic and what a player he is. And, again, we're going to have our hands full with him, and we got to do a good job of setting up our defense to be able to stop him.
And what are they doing on defense right now that catches your eye? Vikings.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
Yeah, much of the same. They're still playing a lot of shell defense, playing a lot of jam front, so doing much of the same of what they've done before.
All right. Matt, is it for the year? I got to tell you, I know a coach's time is uber valuable. But we do appreciate the hour you've spent for 18 consecutive weeks. I think it's that long, plus preseason. But it's been a pleasure to get to know you and appreciate your professionalism and character and answering all these questions every week, even though it's been a year of significant adversity, but also a year of great hope, too, because it's proven that with the right foundation, good things are going to happen. So I want to thank you for everything.
Well, I want to thank you too. I really appreciate your questions. It's very easy to be on this show with you, and you've done a great job. I appreciate it.
And have a great final game. And we all look forward to it. I know everybody needs a little break, but it's not going to stop. The grind continues, right?
That's it. Yeah. Yes, it will.
That's for sure. All right, I want to thank our producer, Lisa Fielding, along with Andy Gersher, Dan Briley, and Jordan Tretta for all their help over the course of the season. For Matt Eberflus, I'm Jeff Joniak. We'll be at home on Soldier Field Turf Sunday, 9 o'clock, our pregame show, noon the kickoff against the Vikings. Stay tuned. News continues on 105.9, where CBS News is next at the top of the hour. We join Monday Night Football on 780, Buffalo and Cincinnati. This is News Radio 105.9 WBBM. Good night, everybody.
WBBM Chicago and WCFS FM at HD1 Elmwood Park, Chicago.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.